The following content are the expressed thoughts, views, ideas, and opinions of the individuals and guests of the Nerds Have Spoken podcast. This podcast may contain adult language and themes not suitable for children under the age of 17. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. Please stand by while we wait for the cast of the Nerds Have Spoken. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
For those.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Jesus Christ. Hollywood. You should change your name like that.
Surprise.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Jason Lowry on the Nerds Have Spoken. I'm here with my partners in crime this week. Apparently his name is Jesus Christ, Jeremy B.
Jesus Christ, Jeremy B.
I got special guest HarikenBx. I got Coco Smooth. I got the Meat Sweats Eric B. And it was Wolfenstein all along. And I don't give a shit if I fucked it up. How you guys doing?
We're pretty good. I think you did all right there, buddy. I think you did good.
It was Benadryl all along. No,
Yo, speaking of that, we got to make sure you get into that story. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, oh, it will. So how was your guys' week this week, Eric B?
Yo, I had a pretty good week, man. Rough work week, but a good week otherwise, man. Outside of that, actually, I want to share one thing with you guys real quick. This is like the highlight to my weekend. Let's go to share screen here.
Is it another half-naked picture I need to put cow faces on there?
No. But actually, the reason why I put the meat sweats is because I smoked a brisket and made it pastrami style this
Nice.
go round.
Nice.
So got that done this week. It took a minute, and those are my burnt ends. I went and sauced those up. That's the first time I've had pastrami burnt ends, and they came out pretty good. So there will be a new video. I'm working on this, and these are just excerpts from the video that I'm putting together for the meat sweats with Eric B. But yeah, man, that was a pretty challenging ordeal due to the fact that I couldn't get my temps to stay where they needed to stay. But you guys will hear all that in the video once it's processed and uploaded. But that was one of the things I did this week. I got a chance to go to the gym today, which is great on my off day, which is always cool, getting that extra workout in, and it kind of sets me up for the rest of the week. Got a couple things in. We'll talk about that in halls. But that's pretty much it, man. Getting ready for this basement. Can't wait next week. We frame it out.
Nice.
That's it. Wolf, what about you, buddy?
This week was garbage.
Oh,
It was garbage.
I saw your post, man.
Yeah. I bet you did. That was my week. It was trash. For all those who don't follow me on Facebook.com, you might not know I had to go back to Arkansas. And it was not good. The only good thing about it was I had a cheeseburger the size of a hubcap. And it was literally called the hubcap.
wow.
Holy
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Did you finish it all?
I fucking did, because I'm a fat fuck, Mr. Workout.
So how'd your jaws feel after taking in all that meat?
Oh no!
He's pro by now. Come on.
Whoa.
Yeah, you know,
You gotta set yourself up for that one, bro.
That's fun. I hate this fucking show. And then I got to the weekend, and that sucked even more because it's Sunday.
Oh man. I knew it was coming.
There you go.
Oh, we love you, Wolf. We
No,
do.
you don't.
We really
No,
do.
don't lie to me. Don't lie to me.
Without you, there is no us, buddy. Should we move right along, Wolf? All right, Jose. What about you, man? How was your week?
My week was good, man. Pretty normal standard week. You know, your work is crazy, like Wolfenstein, kind of sucks a dick sometimes, but it's all good. Work is work. The best thing is I just don't have to commute like he does and travel all over the country. So that's a plus. But it was a good week. Got a new item in, which I'll discuss during the haul, because if it wasn't for that one thing, it'd be a big old deuce egg. And and it was a pretty monumental day for me on Thursday. It was payday for me, and after doing some finances, I was actually able to make a final payment on a debt consolidation loan. So I'm officially debt free.
Dude.
Hey, man.
That up,
Hell
man.
yeah.
That's amazing. I saw that post and was like, yes,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah, dude.
That's adulting to the next level.
It's great stuff, man. It's great stuff. Like, not that I was like wanting for anything, or not that I was doing hard like financially, thankfully, you know what I'm saying? But just to be in a hole and have to be paying a bill every month for times, listen, I spent money, I had good times, I was generous, I don't regret really anything. But it sucks to have been in a hole and you're still paying for things, years later, you know what I'm saying? So just to kind of be over that hump is great. And just feels good, man. Feels good. So just ready to look forward, to life ahead. Things, can start happening a little bit easier now, which is a great thing. So I'm thankful for that.
Amazing. That's amazing, brother.
Yeah.
Proud of you, man.
And keeping up with the workouts and stuff like that, like you said, working out every day. I got a gym right across the street from my job. It's actually part of the hospital, just newly opened. So it makes it very easy, to work out. Very hard to make excuses. And the past few weeks getting in there, I've been enjoying the process more and more. I'm seeing the difference, and the numbers on the scale are going in the right direction. So it's only the beginning, but I'm very much looking forward to continuing that process to hitting our goals and stuff like that, and keeping each other motivated in the ROC Health and Wellness group is a major factor to keeping everybody on point. It helps keep me on point. So keep it up, everybody.
You trying to make me feel bad, Jose?
No, not at all. If I had the opportunity to eat a hubcap burger.
Yeah, I went to the gym today. What about you, fat ass hubcap eater burger? Yeah, what about you?
I miss those days.
Muscles.
Yo, I actually got a question for you about that, Jose. For all of our listeners and viewers out there who are also maybe struggling with some of the same things we struggle with, getting back on a horse, what would you say was the biggest challenge, and then also probably like the biggest success you have during this process?
For the weight loss?
Yep. For weight loss.
The hardest thing is just getting back into it. Like I've been on and off and such, hadn't really worked out consistently in over a year, like since COVID and stuff. And I gained a lot of weight in the last year. So for anybody that wants to start the process, the hardest thing is just getting started, but the first thing is that you have to really make a decision to commit to doing something, whether it's eating better or going to the gym or whatever you decide to commit, to as far as like your weight loss goes. You have to really make that decision first to make the commitment, because sometimes you could do a week or 2 weeks and then it's very easy to fall back into old habits. And the only thing that really makes a difference is the consistency of doing the right thing. So I take it one day at a time, making sure that, okay, I wake up today, I'm going to make the right choices as far as what I'm eating. I'm going to make sure I work out and not be lazy. Like, yeah, it's very close to just laying up on the couch today. It's a Sunday, it's a day off, and we were just like, let's just take a walk. Like, what's the harm? What's the harm in taking 45 minutes to an hour and just walking around?
Right.
I'll tell you what is the harm. You need to zoom in, homie, before we get flagged. Showing pay-per-views, dog.
So it's not a pay-per-view. It's not a pay-per-view. Right. So, so basically that's it, man. Just make that decision that you want to commit to make a change, and then just make sure you put action to your thoughts and do the right thing every day to reach your goals, man. That's it.
Nice, dude.
That's all.
Really good tips. Really good tips. Thanks for sharing that, man.
Yeah, no
Thanks
problem.
for sharing that.
I definitely relate, because like I joined the army as a really fat dude, and I've reverted to being a fat dude again. But my point is, I know what it's like to what you have to do to lose weight, and it's exactly what he said. The hardest part really is that first step to getting it, to committing to getting it done. Really, there's a lot of distractions in your life, and the fortunate thing about being in the army was they eliminate all the distractions. You're focused on doing nothing but becoming the weapon that you need to be. When of course when you're out having all sorts of freedom to do stuff, you know what I mean, all sorts of distractions to keep you. Like, I was not exposed to when you of course when you're in the military in the beginning, you only get to eat 3 times, and you don't get to choose to snack or nothing. It's breakfast, lunch and dinner. And
Yeah.
well, I mean, there's people who make bad decisions during boot camp and they pay the price for it. You can tell. And there's people like me who actually took it seriously and decided I was going to eat like the things that I needed just to get an efficient, to eat efficient. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I ate hard-boiled eggs instead of like hamburgers and pizza or whatever easy meal that. They gave hamburgers and pizzas to the really skinny dudes who had to gain weight.
Need to bulk up. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But for people like me, I was like, I had to choose not being able to eat pancakes and bacon for breakfast. Instead, I was eating like Raisin Bran and bananas and hard-boiled eggs. I was eating like a 40-year-old at the age of 20, 20 to lose. And if you can. If you eat heart healthy, you should be okay. And of course, lots and lots of gosh damn water. Drinking nothing but water.
That's a fact.
Because those drinks, especially if you don't drink the diet stuff, all that sugar really catches up real quick, and you don't keep track. Yeah, and I was one of those guys who drank Cokes and Dr. Pepper's like nothing.
That was me. Pepsi, man. I drank nothing but Pepsi. I gotta go through a 3-liter every other day. Just by cutting the soda alone, I'm pretty sure that's why I'm losing like weight.
Yeah, that's a big one, dude.
You stick with nothing but water. Like my big philosophy now is don't drink your calories. Your calories should just come from your food and water. Pound the water all day.
Yeah, this show is so not fun right now. All this discipline bullshit.
I'm just telling you that what has to be done, but that's not what I do these days. I had an Oreo cheesecake, bro. So a cupcake, and I'm not supposed to, obviously, because like my A1C is just saying no. You all don't. We need you to stay alive. We don't need insulin right now, bro. Come on.
Yeah,
behave.
that's a tough go, man. That's a tough go. So that Oreo cheesecake was the highlight of your week. How was the rest of your week?
Today. Oh no. Okay, so over this weekend was really the highlight because it was my nephew's 12th birthday, and you know what? I've been waiting for this moment. Yeah,
Happy birthday to him.
Yeah, because when sometimes I don't know. I've never had a kid, so he's the closest thing to having a kid that I've had, and I always found him to be kind of a little annoying, but now that he's 12 and he kind of understands stuff, I'm like, all right, now I can convert you to a real nerd. So, and that's what I did. I took him to the comic book store and he went full ham. So I was like, yes, that's what. But I teach him all kinds of awesome lessons, like don't be a simp and he'll be okay. Kind of.
Shout out to Uncle Yule.
I would be like Uncle Elroy, dude. Yep. That's
it for your week. Cool. Jeremy B, what about you, buddy? How was your week? Look at them glasses,
I can't take you seriously.
Right.
He looks like the Terminator, bro. T-2000.
Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all didn't know?
I see you looking at me, looking at you.
God.
Yeah.
Fucking Hollywood Bennett over here.
I'm kind of a big deal now. I'm on a podcast.
Jeremy B's going Hollywood.
Yeah.
So
Just turned heel.
along with that,
The heel turn.
The Jeremy B has
No longer the
spoken.
face.
We couldn't keep it going.
Don't pop him.
so I'm just gonna add to all this fitness wonderment that y'all talking about. I quit the Pepsi 1.5 years ago. I haven't had a drop since.
Nice.
Well done.
Furthermore, I've been fasting. And since last I saw the My Rock crew 1 year ago, next week,
Yep.
I'm down 45 fucking pounds, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's
Damn.
dope, man.
And after Eric sent his shirtless pictures around to everybody this week, I decided it was a good time to start doing some push-ups. I did 50, so now I'm buff too.
Good stuff, bro.
Nice.
What's up, nerds? So
He's like the Stevie Wonder of podcast world.
So my week was all around pretty boring. Work, bullshit, all that stuff. I did pick up that Final Fantasy VII on PS Plus this week. I dug into that a little bit this morning, got an hour or so in, and I'm digging it. I waited, and I'm digging it. Otherwise, just kind of hung out with the family, kicking it. Not a whole lot to report.
Good stuff.
So what about Halls?
Let's go to Lowry
Jason,
real quick.
Yeah, Jason, we got to get your week.
He's got a pretty interesting story to tell.
Tell us how you almost died.
So
Jeremy B style.
Anniversary.
So this weekend, shout out to my wife. It is our wedding anniversary. It's actually Tuesday coming up.
Yeah, the 9th.
The 9th. So we actually celebrated this past weekend, and actually pretty interesting turn of events. So we went to go visit my mom and them, go have dinner and everything else and spend it with them, our anniversary. And we ended up going to Texas Roadhouse and had some pretty good food. I had some chicken and everything else and some shrimp.
Shout out to the bread.
Yeah, shout out to the bread. And then, so we ended up doing that. And then I went with the nephews to go play basketball at the basketball court. We played basketball. Shout out to fitness. Yay. That's my fitness in for the week. No, it was pretty good. There was actually a bunch of people up at the court. I had taken them to some of the old courts I used to go to that I played when I was younger, and so we went up there and there was a bunch of people out there playing. So we ended up playing like horse with a bunch of people because obviously we couldn't play side by side at that time,
Mm-hmm.
So with shout out to social distancing. So that's kind of interesting playing basketball that way. But yeah, so we turned around, we played that, and we played horse, and I ended up whooping up on all the guys on the court, which is funny because I haven't touched a ball in like a couple of years.
It's not what I heard.
Ooh, Wolf got me.
He did it on his own.
That's a motherfucker. Wolf's been waiting on that. He's been stewing for a year to try to get me.
Good stuff, Wolf.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah.
Good one.
Oh, that was a good one. So after we got done playing basketball and all that, come to find out, I started breaking out in hives, and I started my throat started closing up. And I was like, yo, I'm not that much fucking out of wind, like, I'm not that bad. I was like, basketball didn't take that much out of you. And then come to find out, we found out that the rice that came with my food has cream of mushroom, and I'm allergic to mushrooms. So quite a few Benadryl and EpiPens later, that's how I spent the rest of my anniversary with my wife.
That sucks, bro.
High as hell, and then I don't remember half of it. Like later in the night, I had her drive home. So, but yeah, that was my night for this past weekend. But beyond that, it was pretty good. Worked pretty good this week. Everything was good. Hung out with family. So it's pretty much about it.
That's what's up. Well, let's get into a little bit of Hall action. Let's start with our special guest, Jose. What you get in last minute?
Oh, it's gonna be a short one, guys, and it's not even no toys or anything like that, or Yo, I'm Flash. They call me that's why they call me.
Yeah.
That's bad. All right, so I got a brand new Samsung S21 Ultra 5G. I hadn't upgraded in a few years. Yep. It's a pretty dope phone. The camera is dope. Look, it's got a bunch of lenses.
That's where
there.
all the pictures came from. When you were walking around, nice. They looked amazing, man. Good job.
Yeah, they did look great. Like even Jessie was saying that she was like, wow, like the picture quality. She was like, our camera's the same because she got the S21, but this one's the Ultra. So I was like, I think they're the same. If there's a difference, it shouldn't be much. But that's it, man. Like, I didn't really get any figures this week. You guys, I'm Sergeant Siege. I usually get all the War for Cybertron stuff, but I guess there's going to be a little bit of a lull before the next wave of the Kingdom stuff comes out. So it might be.
Yeah. What dropped this past week? Inferno and something else?
Yeah,
Inferno. I think that's starting to show up at U.S. retail and stuff. I got it a few weeks ago from an online store and stuff like that. But nice. I think those are starting to pop up. So I hope people find them. So that's it. That's it for me.
Good stuff. Let's go to you, Mr. U. What you get?
Well, as you guys know, I'm more of a comic book guy, less than a classic guy these days. And the highlight of the week, which I recommend that y'all pick up if you haven't if you all get a chance.
X-Men Legends #1. Oh, okay.
Oh, the Batman. Yeah.
Oh, I downloaded that.
Batman 106. This is the cameo appearance of Miracle Molly. So what I love about what James Tynion is doing these days is he's basically under his run, he's creating the next gen of like all the new really awesome characters that like, you know how Batman has the Penguin, the Riddler, and all those classic guys, right? And every so often there'll be like a character once every 10 or something years where like a Bane per se, right? That becomes kind of significant in canon, and there's a bunch of unmemorable ones. Yeah. Well, the guys that James is making, they're all going to be iconic. Every single character that I think he's making so far, once it becomes mainstream, is going to be legit. Like when people start to catch on, it starts with like obviously Punchline being like the next gen Joker's protege from the last year, Clown Hunter, and Ghostmaker. But this one is Miracle Molly, and this one will appeal more to the young crowd because, well, first of all, when you see her getup, it's definitely a young crowd getup. You know what I mean? Some next gen stuff.
What can Miracle Molly do?
She's like a cyborg, and what she does is like her and her like group or gang of other like technology. I don't even know how to like people who are into tech and stuff.
They're like advanced. Enhanced humans, right?
Yeah,
like they're.
What she can do, with the concept right now, is that she's able to erase bad memories and trauma from people, which is illegal, I guess. Or you know what I mean?
Can she alter moods and perceptions of people?
I maybe, but for now, what makes her awesome is because people go to her to erase the bad things in their, so that they could be happy people, so they're not remembering none of the things that make them depressed, I guess. And that's
that
kind
could
of
really affect Batman. I'll tell you that.
Right?
There would be no Batman without those thoughts.
Happiness, right? Another thing I got.
Increase energy or warmth in your body.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Where the hell are you going with this?
Maybe.
Molly?
Oh, no.
Oh,
she's not. Yeah, she's not. I think they call her Molly because Molly's supposed to make you feel better, obviously.
Apparently so.
And I picked up Demon Days, Mark Brooks cover. Yeah, I know. I love Mark Brooks. All of his art is really good, and this cover was money.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah, Psylocke, Betsy Braddock, and something back in 2005. I got a slab 9.8. Amazing Fantasy 7, which is the first appearance of Carmilla Black, the Scorpion. Now, I'm no fool. You know what I mean? I decided to pick this up while it was cheap, and by cheap I mean like $250.
Damn.
Right now, the reason why is because Miles Morales' first appearance 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I bought for $250. Now it's going to near $3K at a 9.8.
Shit.
Yep. So I decided, you know what? I think I'm gonna go gamble on a bunch of other young motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And start picking them up before people catch on. Because at some point, I have a feeling that young Black Scorpion right there is gonna be something, right? And speaking of which, what makes Miles Morales dope, I think, I got this print, $70.
Saw that
That's
print.
a nice print, man.
That looks good.
Now, I've never owned a pair of J's in my life, but this is the closest thing for me to owning one. Watching Miles rock his own pair of J's, and that was the whole reason I got it. I was like, "Oh, that's cool. He's got J's."
Fire.
That's what speaks to the kids now. Like, what I'm saying, with that character, it's the culture. We're like including all that, like, from the culture.
Agreed.
It's pretty dope.
And that's why I picked it up because,
it looks good.
Why not?
And that's my special haul.
That's your week. Nice. Wolf, man. What about you, buddy?
I got a turtle.
Hey, that boy looks sweet too.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's the Super 7 one.
That sure is. Yeah. And apologies to Matt Hurt on that one. Sorry, buddy. I got some Pretender parts for the last shell I need. I got them all fixed up. He got his belt and his two guns
nice.
Oh,
That's what's up, dude.
now. Pew pew bang bang. In Columbus, Ohio, I ran into a really cool toy shop, and I got shit. So
Was that the pussy shop or whatever it was that you?
no,
That was so funny, dude. Oh my god.
no, you're thinking about where was that?
That was Indiana, wasn't it?
No, it was Ohio. Was it Toledo?
Dude, that
Sounds like a
was
Toledo
so
thing.
funny.
Yeah, I just pulled in up to Toledo. I found this other shop I wanted to go to. I walked out of the car, and that was the first thing I saw. Like, oh, okay. It's nice, but no, that's not what I was talking about. No, it's a really great place in Columbus. I got a steel jaw.
Oh,
Nice.
Look at that chrome effect on it. Nice.
Yeah, the gold chrome, and I got a misfire.
That's what's
Oh,
up.
okay, nice.
Target Master, right?
I love that one. That was
Little
probably my
Target
most
Master.
favorite, like in vehicle mode.
That's
That's a
cool.
lot of fun. Yeah, so short week for me, but that's what I got.
Hey, man, that's what's up.
Nice.
That's what's up. Mr. Lowry, what about you?
I got very little this week. Shout out to Jose, but yeah, I got the phone also.
Nice.
But then, dude, this screen's amazing. Look at this shit.
Yeah, it's
Oh, that is pretty cool.
insane.
The force perspective.
Oh yeah. So not only did I get that, but because remember, I'm so used to having a note. Well, my note died, and so shout out to the S Pen. So I picked up to go with this phone because I use it for work. So I picked that up. The one thing that I dislike about this phone is that when you get it from the manufacturer, there's no power brick. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah, they
it's
pulled
just
an
Yeah.
Apple.
cable.
they just
They were
give you
making
the
fun of
power.
Apple and then did the same exact shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Apple's
wow.
did the same thing, bro.
Shout out to Best Buy because they were actually able to have one for me, so I picked that up.
Nice.
That's cool.
That's weird.
And my lovely wife, shout out to her, my wedding anniversary she's got me. She actually picked me up. Let me open this up.
I can hear
So-
tears.
Yep. It's not vibrating, so we're good.
The battery's
No,
in.
she picked me up actually 2 wallets because my wallet got washed the other day, and I got 2
Oh,
new
nice.
wallets.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
That's
sweet.
dope.
Look at that.
Oh
Very
man, it looks like it's ultra thin too. That's perfect, dude.
It is.
wallet.
Yeah, look at this.
I'm
It's
getting a
got
wallet.
it's 2 different textures and 2 different colors too. But
Yeah.
look at that.
Nice.
Slim wallet
that-
life is what's up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, what's nice about
Yeah.
this, dude? This is an RFID chip and blocker inside of it too. So
Nice.
that's nice about it.
That's really dope too.
Yeah, because for some reason I keep getting randomly every once in a while when we walk into the Giant, my cards get taken. Our cards get taken when we go into the Giant. So,
That sucks.
which we're not shopping there anymore, by the way. But beyond that, this is actually a long time coming because since the COVID, I've been kind of backed up on all these parts. But remember, I was doing the Eaglemoss build the Ecto one.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got, dude. Look at this bottom pan where the drive shaft is.
Yeah.
So I got that.
Wow.
I got another piece of the pan that goes over the transmission. Starting to form the drums.
The
and
top of the
everything
engine
else.
block. Oh, that's rotors and stuff for the
This-
suspension,
This
the
is
shocks
drums
and all that.
everything for the suspension.
What's the scale on that thing?
This is 8th scale.
8th scale.
Okay.
Starting to
pretty
do the
big.
top end.
Wow.
Let's see here. Dude, this just keeps going. This literally, there's a big ass box that showed up. Here's the fucking tire.
Look at the rims.
So did they send all 4 this time?
Well, they only send like 2 at a time because they have you build different parts at a time. So this is where it's starting to do the front of the engine bay.
Wow, it's about time they got you caught up on this stuff, dude. You've been waiting way
Well, it
too
wasn't
long.
just me either. Like there was a lot of
No.
people that were way behind.
So, Jason,
Yeah.
can you give the listeners kind of a recap on where you are with this, what it is. It's a subscription service, right?
Yeah, so this is the Eaglemoss Ecto-1 subscription service. So basically, I pay every month, and they basically ship parts. I build this big, giant, like 36-inch Ecto-1, like 8th scale.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, this is like the battery box and like everything else.
They even have you build the battery? That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, here's the horns, like everything. Look at all that shit. Like,
Wow.
oh, just wait. The box isn't done.
Jesus Christ.
So how deep are you
So
into
the-
this?
So then I got the fender wells. So there's basically a total of 144 parts, which this is considered one part. So it's 144 of these bags total to build the entire car.
Ooh. And you're up to bad 33, I think?
That's thousands of pieces.
I'm at 40 something. Dude,
40
look at
something?
that.
Okay.
That's the beginning of like the drive shaft and everything. Look at
Yeah. That's crazy.
that. And then one more.
And are you painting these after the fact? Like as you build them, or
some of the stuff, yeah.
You painted the seats. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no. That's from the
Oh, that was from the small one, the old school one.
like.
You painted the engine block and put some of the paint on the spark plugs.
So to give you an idea, here's the motor
whoo,
that I did with it so far.
man, is that awesome?
Wow.
That is
That's what I
crazy, bro.
painted. All of it came as one color, and I actually painted. Dude, you can even look, and it's kind of hard to see.
That's for Ecto 1?
This
Yep.
is for Ecto 1. This is the motor.
That's that old
just by itself.
Cadillac. That Cadillac engine was huge, dude.
Dude,
Holy
they even.
smokes.
Dude, I had to paint all that individual shit, like everything, and I even did.
Yeah,
a
you weathered
bunch
up the
of,
trans.
brushing, weathered it up, like everything. So,
That's amazing work, man.
Very good.
So cool.
but that was literally the end of the box because I'm at I think parts 40 or something right now. They just shipped out. So what's cool about this kit is that they send out all these parts for you to build everything, but then they send little specials, and in these little specials, like I'm getting 4 proton packs and a trap and stuff like that with it too. So just to kind of give you an idea.
Nice.
But this is only 3 magazines, so there's 4 parts per issue to kind of give you an idea. And just to show you guys so you can see this, you kind of open these up, and it kind of gives info on all the parts and the screws and everything else.
Okay.
And then it actually goes through, it tells you what the parts are, what the stage is, everything else. And then it shows you how to put everything together. Like, dude, this kills like third party and all their other shit the same. To shame with all this. Look at all this.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then as you kind of through run all this towards the end, they actually kind of give you snippets inside the book about different.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Stuff about the film.
Oh, that's
Nice.
And then
It's really a commemorative piece.
Yeah, like it's big time. And so this whole thing, look, it even has the ghosts and everything else. It kind of tells you info on the movie, and then it even shows you like how they made it and everything else. So it's a giant set. This whole entire thing's badass. And then they go through and it shows you the preview of what you're getting next,
Wow.
the next set of parts. And so that's
They spare
So
no expense
basi-
in this thing.
yeah. But
So when they send you something, do they send a portion of the build that can be completed, or are you in the position where you have to wait for 2 or 3 deliveries before you can actually build something?
I have to wait until a couple of different deliveries before I could build something. It depends on where it falls in the issue, basically. So
Gotcha.
Like the first 13 part sets were just the motor alone, just to give an idea. So
Wow. That is
Yeah.
crazy. dude.
and
First of all, I want to say that I thought that I liked Ghostbusters, but I guess I
Well,
learned I don't
that's
really like
next level.
Ghostbusters as
well,
much as
the thing is, I before Transformers and all the buying of the toys and everything else, I actually would go through and build model kits as a kid. I love building cars. I'm a car guy. I love cars. So to have like an Ecto 1 sitting in my living room, or soon to be possibly maybe the 66 or 89 Batmobile, that they just announced that they were going to be doing. So I'm going to be busy doing those.
89 Batmobile. That would be, or 86. I forgot what year it is.
I'm not sure which one.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm.
That Keaton
I
Batman.
think I'll hold off. I'll do the Keaton
89.
But
yeah, that one was up. That one's what's up. That's a dream car.
That was it for me. I know that kind of took long, but goddamn, I've been waiting for those parts for like months now. So
yeah, no worries, dude. No worries, man.
But,
Well, let me get in here. Tag me in, coach.
Tag, you're in.
I'm gonna make this quick, guys. I only got a couple. This week I teased that I had a box coming, a box of shoes, and definitely not. Although it probably wouldn't have been a bad idea. So I did some custom Nikes. I needed a black shoe, but I wanted to put my own little stamp on it. And you guys seen this promo teased on our page for the Nerds Have Spoken. But they don't sell these in all black anymore, so I had to make them up on the Nike ID site. And then I'm a huge black and red guy, so I put my little stamp on there with the red drop. You know, shout out to MJ, shout out to the Chicago Bulls. But then also you get the little reflective lights in here, so all that stuff is like, well, not lights, but the reflective material. But what's cool is I actually got my tagline in there, EB23. This is the number that I had when I was playing basketball because of Jordan. But you know, my initials EB. And it just carried on, so I use it in everything now. But yeah, man, I wanted to get a set of these Air Max 97s, custom out, 2 different materials. You could have gone suede in here, but I wanted something a little different, and mesh it out, you know, which is, you know, my own little stamp on a pair of Air Max 97s. So I got those. I got my second tracks in. Shout out to Darren Gillard. He was getting rid of his tracks. I needed a second one for the shelf. I don't think anybody else is gonna make one, so got that. Pretty good deal too.
Dude. Darren's a good dude.
Darren is definitely a good dude. Definitely a good dude. Got this at a steal. Thank you for shipping this out so fast as well. And then shout out to BBTS for actually getting me something on a Sunday, man. It shipped out on Wednesday. I got it here on Sunday via FedEx.
Nice.
I got my Doctor Strange from Infinity War. So the Battle on Titan.
Nice.
There you go.
And
So how close are you with that shelf?
If they ever make a Vision and a Quicksilver, it'll be complete. But as of right now, I think I'm caught up on everything that is out. We know Nick Fury is coming. We don't know if Coulson is going to get production. They teased it.
Well, they teased it.
Yeah, they teased it, but hopefully that comes out. So everything that's out, I'm caught up at least on one figure until I decided to do the Guardians.
Did you get all the Hall of Armors?
No, I'm not doing those. I just needed like a couple sets that I like. So I got, I got Mark 50. You know, that was a big one. That was in Infinity War. I got 85. That was a big one. That's the last time we've seen them. And then I think I have the one from Civil War, which is such an iconic movie in that realm of things. So I got that, and that's pretty much it on that. I'm not doing any Hall of Armors, although I do envy you guys who have them, and it looks pretty good, man. But I did get one last thing. Shout out to a guy named Akira, John B. If you know him, if you know, you know, from Chicago. Got a set of 3D printed like wheels that go on the bottom of the sled for Ratchet and Ironhide. And I saw that, and I'm like, this would look nice on the shelf. So I did get that as well. Shipped right from Canada, and he shipped pretty quick too. So shout out to that guy. And that's it for me, Jeremy B. What you got?
Very, very slim week here. Almost not even worth talking about. However, I'm going to talk about it. I identified an issue with the NECA Turtle line, and it's that most of them don't care to stand up. So talking in the MyRock crew with my buddy Leon, he suggested the NECA figure stand. So he was going to pick me up a set, and then I found them yesterday. So I got 10 of these little discs that are going to keep those guys from falling over. Other than that, I got some frames for some artwork, but I don't know if that's worth taking the camera around to do that. But that's it for me otherwise.
Nice, dude.
So we've spent all this nice time together, hearing your guys' weeks, all about your hauls. I've got one question to ask. Jose, what time is it?
Oh, Jeremy. Let me check my Fitbit real quick. Oh, look. It says it right there. It's time to nerd up or shut up, baby.
That's right.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Get it, man.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get it. So what we got on the docket, Lowry? Special
All
show?
right,
Special
so
show?
we got a couple quick things, and then we'll dive deep into the WandaVision interesting stuff.
Man.
So
This is gonna be good.
So I don't know if you guys saw this. So this actually happened to me the other day, and I don't know if this happened to Jose, but I was updating my Amazon, and the icon, and a lot of people were complaining about this icon, and I didn't pay attention to this shit until somebody said
Somebody
something.
pointed out.
And somebody said I completely missed that the Amazon quietly tweaked the new icon to make it look less Hitler. like this was the icon right here. Let me zoom in a little bit, see if I can get a look. So this was the icon that was there like last week, and then this week it looks like this.
Dude, people just got way too much time in their hands. It looks like packing tape. That's it. It looks like
That's
packing
what it looked
tape.
like to me. I thought it was a box, but you know.
Yeah, it's a box with packing tape and Amazon's logo because that's what they put on their boxes. Like people just got way too much.
Dude, next thing you know, someone's gonna complain about the one on the right saying it looks like it got a cleft lip or some shit.
Right, like it's gonna be something, dude. Like relax, people.
Is that the app logo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So
my
it
app
used to-
logo
it
don't
used to-
look like that.
It used to look like this.
Check your phone.
And
Mine
then it
still
went to
looks
this, and then mine looks different actually than both of these.
Yeah, mine got updated this weekend, and it does look like the
I
new
still
app.
I still got the old one. You can see it. There it goes.
Yeah.
The old
I'm
one.
actually pulling my. No, actually, sure as shit. Mine does, dude. Look at this.
You got the new one? Yeah, I don't got it yet. Didn't
Yeah, I
switch
got the
up for
new
me.
one. Yeah,
I got the
You
new
know,
one.
there's some guy in some holler somewhere that was like, Gertrude, it's happening.
Oh God.
Oh my God, for being canceled on Twitter.
People seeing shit that's not there, man. Like, I don't know. That's a little silly.
Way too much time in their hands, dude. As long as the Amazon Smile feature still works, I can give care less, bro.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Keep playing Kennedy's Village. Thank you.
So I just wanted to give a quick shout out, and I know Jeremy B's got something on here, but shout out to Roy Williams for becoming the men's fastest coach to 900 wins. And for people who aren't familiar with him, he's the coach for UNC. They actually and which kind of crazy. They actually, when he got that 900th win, they upset Florida State too. So
And they spanked Duke the other day too.
yeah,
Spanked
they
them
did.
boys.
Yeah. Shout out to Carolina. But yeah, so I've been a Carolina fan since I was a kid, dude. Like half my family and shit like that, which is kind of interesting because Bethany's family is all Virginia Tech.
Nice little borderline crossing rivalry there. But what's cool though, man, is you got to give him his props. Not only is he the fastest, but he's only the fifth coach to do it in the history of college men's basketball, Division I to be specific. So that's a milestone, and he should be celebrated for it, man. That's a big win.
It's amazing, dude. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, man.
But Jeremy B, I know you had some.
Look at look at Wolf's picture.
Here, let me.
Highlight him, please. Oh my God, that is so Wolf.
Nice.
That describes
Oh,
his
yeah.
week in a nutshell.
Is that his picture to his coworker that calls from Arkansas? Or whatever?
Probably. Good stuff. Sorry, Jeremy.
No. I don't know. Are we doing this?
Yeah, I mean, well,
we
go
can
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
We'll briefly touch on a couple of things because I know you had something to say, and then we'll just dive deep into everything else.
Yeah, it's a big night for wrestling you mentioned, and you wanted to mention a couple things. So go ahead, man. Get into it, buddy. What you got?
Yeah, so we had a news headline this week that Bobby Lashley is now the third or fifth, depending on how you count it, Black WWE champion, World Heavyweight Champion, whether that you include the WWE Championship or the WCW when it was there for a few years, just rolling everything up into one as if you're a world champion for your brand or otherwise, he is the 5th black dude to do it so far.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through a little bit of the history, just really briefly, and wanted to share a little bit of this. So, you all see my screen?
Yep, we got you.
So this is Bearcat Wright. In 1963, he was the first black man to win the World Heavyweight title from the World Wrestling Association LA territory. So this is back in the old days where the WWA separated from NWA from early 60s until 68. So you see Bearcat Wright was the first one to hold the gold. Big Cat Ernie Ladd also did so in 1966 with the Indianapolis division of that territory. So officially, if we're talking just WCW, WWE, the big ones, then we got to go with the very first, Ron Simmons, Farouk. 1992, he beat Vader at the Great American Bash and had a 150-day reign as the first. He's often recognized as the first official black man to hold world heavyweight gold.
Yep. Yeah.
So moving on from that. Oh, he was great. He was, and really, his character work didn't really develop until later in the 90s in the WWE when he was paired with Bradshaw and some of the APA work they did. He was just fantastic. So now the first official black man to hold the WWE World Heavyweight title was The Rock.
Big Malvia. Let's go.
So The Rock held the championship 10 times. He won it the first time at Survivor Series for the vacated title against Mankind. The two of them went back and forth and kind of traded it back. He had a 50-day reign the first time. Mankind beat him. He had and then he won it back. He had a 7-day reign, and then they flip-flopped again. And his third official reign was 41 days. So it was a very tumultuous time with the WWE Championship. And it's significant because his dad, Rocky Johnson, along with Tony Atlas, were the first black men to win the tag team championship in 1977. And that was for Vince Sr. and the WWF.
Yeah,
so Booker T. So he's an interesting man.
Yo,
so
why does he look like Ernie Hudson right there?
Yo, he does kind of look like Ernie right there.
Well, this is back in 2000 because Booker T was the second black man to win the WCW title from Jeff Jarrett at the Bash at the Beach. So this was in 2000. He won the title 3 more times over the next year, and for his 4th title win, he beat Scott Steiner on the final episode of WCW Nitro.
Crazy match. I remember that.
Yep, the day that Shane McMahon came and announced that he bought WCW.
Yeah,
kayfabe, as far as that goes. So then, King Booker in 2006 defeated Rey Mysterio at the Great American Bash to win his first WWE heavyweight title, effectively becoming the second black man to do so. He had a 126-day reign, and it was an impressive run at the time. So then we get down to Mark Henry.
Now, before you continue on, this is during just so I can to see if I remember this correctly. This was during the split where the WCW title was the headline title for either Raw or SmackDown, and then vice versa for the WWE Heavyweight Championship, right?
That sounds right. I kind of drifted during this period, so I wasn't an Advent watcher at the time.
Yeah.
I know it was
Jose would know for sure.
It was during his House of Pain run where he went to the main event very quickly and dominantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from 2002 onward, the WWE split into 2 brands, like between Raw and SmackDown, and usually the WWE title, and this was originally the WCW title. They just renamed it the World Heavyweight Championship, and it usually represented one brand or the other. They would swap the titles every few years just to kind of freshen things up. So it kind of allowed more wrestlers to shine with a title on them, and a lot more wrestlers who deserved it, were allowed to be basically world champion in WWE. So it was a good time. Mark Henry definitely like one of them, because this was like during Cena's run, which Cena was essentially the top guy. So if it wasn't for the world heavyweight title, guys like Mark Henry and probably even Booker T probably would have never even gotten runs with the title at the time.
Yeah,
so
good point.
It's a great point. So then we get into more modern times, and this was a very, very fitting win. So Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania 35 defeated Daniel Bryan, and this was the fans making something into reality, just like Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30, where they insisted that he get his shot. Kofi came in as a substitute at Elimination Chamber that year and ended up going on to put on an incredible performance, sinking him his spot against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 35, where he won the championship. So depending on what, just as Jose said, whether you're going to count Mark Henry and Booker T, Kofi's either the third or the fourth black man to win the WWE Gold.
Yeah.
And he had an impressive as hell run, 180 days. And any wrestling fan will tell you, when he lost the title, it was bullshit sort of Brock Lesnar came in, squash match. He didn't even have a chance to put up a fight. And it was super, super disappointing end to a fantastic run.
Yep. Agreed.
So this picture, it looks like, Jodeci doesn't sing anymore. Now they wrestle.
To the uninformed eye, what you're looking at here is the most prolific tag team or a trio of guys to lace up their boots in the last decade. What they've done is amazing.
Stable, right?
Yeah.
Like a stable.
This is New Day.
Yeah, all guys sort of floundering in their singles careers. Kofi, even though usually very popular, just stuck in the mid card. Big E initially got a push on the main roster, just wound up being another guy stuck in the mid card. Xavier Woods barely got a chance. He was like given somebody else's gimmick initially on the main roster run, and since they were doing nothing with them, they just banded together and created this gimmick and made it work. Like, the fans hated it at first, which I think they might have intentionally thought would have happened because of the way they were coming out and presenting the gimmick. But eventually the talent shines through, and they became one of the WWE's most popular acts. And for like a trio like that to get to this level, to be the world champion, Kofi Kingston, well-deserved, being in the company at that point, 10, 11 plus years. He should have been champion 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Again, just never had any major storylines revolve around him or his character. So it was a nice run and long overdue, and totally by accident, because like Jeremy said, he was a replacement in the Elimination Chamber match, and the person that was getting the fans behind him very organically and naturally during this time was Mustafa Ali. And he wound up getting banged up in some matches, and they slid sort of Kofi right into his spot. And because of his tenure and how over he was with the fans for so long, he just rode that wave all the way to the title win at WrestleMania. So well deserved.
That kind of reminds me of a career of somebody who followed a similar step. That was Bret Hart. Bret Hart took forever to finally, like, he didn't get championship gold until the 90s, but in the 80s he was a mid-carder for forever, and finally
that's why he was so pissed at Vince.
I think that was more a reflection of the times. Like, in the 80s, he was a small guy, a super small guy, and those guys weren't champions in the 80s. But things shifted to a more technical approach to wrestling and a more technical presentation, a more real life, and that's when Bret's value really kind of rang through. But Big E over here, he is poised for big things this year. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a championship on him in the next year or two.
Yep.
But and just to finish this off with last Monday, I think March 1st, Bobby Lashley won the title from The Miz, who had the Money in the Bank briefcase, which earned him the right to a title match at his choosing. Elimination Chamber just finished. Drew McIntyre, who was the previous champion, went through the entire chamber, came out the other end victorious. Miz cashed in right after Bobby Lashley did some damage, and he won. The next week on Raw, Bobby Lashley took the title from the Miz. So some interesting things ahead. Just looking at WrestleMania, we still have one pay-per-view beforehand, which is Fastlane. Hasn't been booked yet. One thing WWE is probably looking at now that they have limited capacity at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa for WrestleMania 30. What are we at? 7 now?
7. I think it's 30.
Yeah, 37. So with that, Drew McIntyre never got his big win in front of a crowd after he beat Brock Lesnar at last year's WrestleMania due to the COVID complications. So WWE may be tempted to go with Drew McIntyre and give him his big win in front of people, but man, that would be a mistake. Running with Bobby Lashley, running with the Hurt Business, who have been on such a roll and have all the momentum in the world behind them, they need to put this man at the top of the heap and let people chase him for a while. He's earned it, and my hat's off to him. Congratulations. It's an awesome achievement, and excited to see things that are coming ahead for him.
Yeah, totally.
And from what I understand about wrestling, good job, by the way, Jeremy, on that segment.
Yeah, no doubt.
From what I understand, I mean, he may not be as charismatic as The Rock, but them as a group bring that same charisma.
He doesn't have to be. He's got MVP.
Yeah,
right.
Amazing.
That's what I'm going after. Like, they have somebody as a group, kind of like remember the Nation of Domination. Like, nobody thought The Rock was going to be as amazing as he was as that guy in that group. And so, like, as a group, he'll get the popularity and it'll work out for him.
Yeah, it's a good time to be a wrestling fan.
Honestly, I think I can remember the very moment when Rock's career turned for real. Like when he was playing the heel.
When he turned heel, yeah.
I mean, like, everybody hated him because he was a good heel, right? But it changed the moment that King Lawler referred to his move as the People's Elbow. Once that happened. Yeah, the people when they called when he was, because he kept calling himself the People's Champ, and people kept booing him because he was the self-proclaimed People's Champ, right? Yep. When Jerry the King Lawler called that the People's Elbow, all of us looked at that and go, dude, that is the funniest fucking thing ever. I think I like this guy. The People's and that's
you know where that came from, right? He was just trying to break the Undertaker one day. And he was trying to do some ridiculous move just to get him to pop and break character. And he did that shit. And Undertaker had to bury his head in the turnbuckle because he was laughing so hard. And then he just ran with it. He just went.
That's fire. I like it. That's what's up. What else we got, Lowry?
All right. So we got going here. Let's see here. We already ran through. All right. So I don't know if you guys saw that. Let me go ahead and share this. So another one bites the dust this year.
Yeah, man.
SDCC.
Yeah. Sucks.
So that one is getting postponed to 2022. Sorry, Yule. I was actually going to try to make it out there to do that.
It's hard to get into that event anyway, man. And I live here.
Yeah, it's like a raffle process, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like the only time I've been able to get in is because somebody who's already got a ticket is like, I'm not gonna go this day. You want to go? Okay.
Wow. Don't twist my arm, guy. Don't twist my arm.
Yeah, no shit.
SDCC, I always hear sells out immediately. Just like New York Comic Con, you got to be waiting in that queue, and usually by the time it's your turn, you're not getting the ticket you want. So.
Oh, that sounds like the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks. I'm really hoping that they don't end up canceling TFCon. I don't think it's going to happen.
Me too, man.
I hope they don't.
I hope not. Yeah.
If they don't, fuck it. We'll just make our own thing, like everybody. So you know. But anyways, so yeah, continuing on here. So we got since Eric B was talking about sneakers and everything else, we figured we kind of pop these in here. Do you see these Thunder Cats?
Those are sick.
Oh shit!
I didn't realize Puma was still around until the other day when.
Yeah, man, Puma's made a hell of a comeback, bro. Like a hell of a comeback. And your boy bought a 2 pair of them boys. I bought a pair for me.
The Lino.
I got a pair of those, and I bought my wife a pair. She has the Chitaras. Those are sick, bro.
They only go to size 12. Ugh.
No, they go up. They went up to size 14. They just sold out.
Oh, they'd fit 12. That's my size.
They just sold out because I bought a 14. Some 14s I can fit into, and I bought my wife her size. Unless you're under the lady size still, but I think the ladies only went up to 11. See, there you go, 14.
There's the black. And 14,
that's pretty dope. And how apropos, by Puma.
Yep, exactly. It was like a marriage made in heaven, bro. This is perfect.
Dude, look at that Chitara. Nice.
Yeah, I got a nice shirt coming for her for that.
Does that have pump technology in it?
No,
that's what I was thinking at first. Like just laughing about that.
No, they do have a run system though. So these are considered running shoes, and they do have their own run system, just like Adidas has Boost and Nike has the Air Max.
I like those.
They got their own particular soles for those, but those look fire, man. They look dope.
They look pretty nice.
Can't wait to get them in hand. See what they look like on my feet.
Oh yeah.
But look at those designs, man. Like Puma's been doing some really good things with their shoes, man. They're making a comeback. Part of, you got Jay-Z had some people over there doing some stuff there. So, they got their ear to the streets and really trying to figure out what people want. I think one of the Simmons daughters is over there working on some things. So they're really trying to bring Puma back to the map.
Yeah. Reminds me of when Converse was doing those DC sneakers and stuff like that. That's the only other thing that it kind of reminds me of. I haven't really seen any other type of sneakers that have done that. So
and Puma used to be like a big breakdancing thing, like just like Adidas. You always had a tracksuit and you had a fresh pair of suede Pumas, man. Like those was it, man. That was it.
All right. So this is pretty much it for like some of the stuff, and I know we're approaching an hour, so I know we wanted to kind of talk about.
Oh, let's get into it. Chomping at the bits, man. Chomping at the bits. So let's get into it. Who's finished? I mean, clearly, I know everybody here has finished it all, right? Or you wouldn't be here because there's gonna be some spoilers. So, guys, if for our listeners and our watchers, if you have not seen all of WandaVision by this episode,
they've had a week.
It off now.
They've had a week.
We're getting ready to get into some spoiler stuff, but let's just get your overall opinions, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty. So let's start with our special guest, Jose.
Okay, I wanted to know who here on the panel is mad about it, like because the fan theories didn't pan out and shit, right?
Yo,
like,
that's a good place to start. That's a good place to start. Let's do that first.
Did it give you enough?
I'm not one of those type of dudes, like, you know what I'm saying, like, because I barely, less and less over the years I've tried to like look for the theories and stuff like that on these websites, because it's just like even though back in the day it would just be nice to get those other perspectives, sometimes people set themselves up for disappointment. But overall, I thought the series was nice. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice setup, especially by the time you get to the end of the series and get to those last couple of post-credit scenes. They set up a couple of movies right there at the very end. But
they didn't give you mutants, Jose. They didn't give you mutants.
Oh, I'm going to go on strike right now. No, not at all. Not at all. And listen, I could understand some people being upset because some things were put there. I don't know.
It was a carrot. They dangled a carrot.
The actor that
it in front of you.
Yeah, the actor that played Pietro. You know what I'm saying? Bringing him in, which would fuel people and be like, oh my God, this is going to be something. Like, I get that. And it wound up just being like a nice little nod and a wink to be like, hey, like we kind of just did a bait and switch, but it didn't really mean anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Who knows? Maybe it might turn out to be something in the future, but I doubt it, because I think just to sidetrack super quick, if they're going to do Marvel, Marvel going to do their take on X-Men or the Fantastic Four, do it brand new, clean slate. Like, don't attach it to anything before, because you're just going to like cause trouble. Deadpool's like probably the only exception to that, Ryan Reynolds is the man. So this series itself, I'm a big fan of these two characters, which is why I enjoyed the show. And to be Disney Plus's first show, from Marvel Studios, which now these shows have an influence on the Marvel films moving forward. These shows actually count. I thought it's a great format to give you more story with these characters because, you got little snippets and bits and pieces, in Age of Ultron where, her character and Vision were introduced. Through Civil War, you got a little bit more. Infinity War and Endgame, you got what you got. Those are, again, like with the Star Wars universe, telling very small, specific points in these characters' lives. You don't get a fleshed out picture unless you get a series like this. So the long form storytelling, how it's moving the MCU forward into the next phase, the status quo where it left these two characters moving forward, it left me interested in what's coming next. I didn't get caught up in all the theories, so I didn't wind up being disappointed in the end. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was a good series, and let's see what they do. I think Falcon and Winter Soldier's coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm open for that series even more now after watching WandaVision.
Yeah, man. Good points there. Let's go to you.
I'm
sorry. Go ahead, Robert.
So let's go and just get one of our opinions. How would you rate, 1 to 10, the show overall?
Overall, 1 through 10, I'd give it a solid 8, 8.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same thing. I agree.
8.5.
I mean, that's just something to think about as we're talking. I just want to ask everybody that after they get done, kind of giving their opinions, see what they think. So
it's pretty up there. In regards to me. I just didn't like I felt like Darcy and Monica were sort of forgotten about like in an episode or so, like there towards the end. Like even though I get it, they were sort of filling in some backstory between Agatha and Wanda, and just basically filling in some of the blanks. So I get that maybe their characters just didn't play a role there, but I felt like I was left wanting more, like a little bit. Like I felt like Darcy just came out super quick in the last episode and did her little thing, and that was it. And then you didn't see her again, and it was like what the fuck is going on?
Kind of her role though in the MCU. She pops in at the end with a quick one-liner, and it's like, oh, cool, we love Darcy. Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, and who are we kidding? Like, we all want to see more Darcy. Like,
I saw a lot of her last week.
For real.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lowry. I'm gonna sit back on this one.
All right. So, Yule, why don't you go ahead? What was your opinion of the show?
From a logistical, take, I thought it's smart what Disney's doing. They took a bunch of the characters who couldn't make movies who couldn't sell movies on their own because it'd be just too expensive and stuff. These more like a second-rate characters. I hate to call them that because as a comic book person,
nobody's second-rate, right? Like in the comics, yeah.
Right, but let's keep it real. Like some people just don't have the same kind of star power,
right,
as certain people, right? And so. Yeah, I thought it was real smart that this is the best way to tell the story, and which is more economic and may eventually win the hearts and minds of more people. This way, actually, is through this format, and I think it was real smart the way they did it. And of course, no series or things ever gonna be perfect. There's a lot of I had the same problems that most people did. Like they kind of just threw away that Pietro.
Mr. Ralph Boner.
It was a joke, another Marvel joke, which might upset some people.
Right, and I know a couple of missed opportunities, but I think I could see why they did it though. It's really hard to introduce the devil to Disney. You know what I mean? Why would you do that? Who's going to introduce the devil? And plus, not only that, like okay, well, once the devil becomes introduced, then who could be the ultimate bad guy?
Yeah.
So let me just stop you real quick right there. Because again, I was thinking that too. Like in those first few episodes, you're left wondering what the hell is going on, what's going on here, and you start to theorize. Then when we got sort of like the other perspective in episode 4, when we started to see what was happening in the real world, and you got a little bit more answers, you start to think, oh, okay, like something's happening to Wanda, somebody's affecting her. And then in a way that was true in the way they introduced Agatha. But ultimately, at the end of this thing, Wanda was responsible for this
everything
in Westbrook. view, and those people suffered in that anomaly, and that's on her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think people were looking like, you know, the Mephisto theory, and Agatha was also predicted by a lot of people, like from when they started looking up Scarlet Witch's history. I'm not familiar with the character, but once I saw the name, I looked her up, and I'm like, okay, like this is possible, and that wound up coming to fruition. That the reveal of the big bad that people were expecting, it wound up being Wanda herself, you know, and you know, like Monica's line at the end with, you know, that, you know, these people will never know what you sacrifice for them. In a way, that's true because of the feelings that she had for Vision and ultimately her sons that weren't real, but, you know, you had them for a couple of episodes. You got to see the attachment and how profound the attachment was between her and them. But she fucking held those people hostage. She kept those kids in their rooms. And I think the time span was about a week or so. So not really that long, but she still did some fucked up shit. Like at the end of it.
I mean,
she got away scot-free.
That's the way it was in the comic books too. During how, you know, House of M, we all know that it was her. The only reason I wouldn't say sour about this, but I just, you know, it's just nice to introduce like new elements. Yeah. You know, but I thought about it. It's really hard to, like I said, just the devil concept is kind of difficult to approach
from Disney's standpoint. Yeah,
right, exactly. Yeah. And one last thing though, I was just really happy that it wasn't fucking Loki again, because Loki, the trickster, always, God. You know what I mean? I was getting tired of that guy getting too much gosh damn. You know,
can you just imagine the look on people's faces, like, you know,
not again.
Agatha turned into Loki.
Loki,
like,
right? Exactly.
Yeah, that would not have been good.
I know,
that would not have been
like,
good. No.
Well, a lot of girls would have liked that shit because a lot of them like Tom Hiddleston, but still, I would have been like, no, not this motherfucker again, dude. No,
he dominated the first 3 phases. Like, just let him go.
You guys say that like it's a bad thing.
It was.
Loki is the best villain that's existed in the MCU yet, and just because he's everywhere doesn't make it a bad thing.
Yo, that's a
to me, it was like Fox Magneto, you know, Magneeto. It like they kept going to that well, and I was so annoyed. I was like, with all the other characters out there, you went with Magneto again.
All right, so name one other villain other than Infinity War Thanos that is as interesting as Loki.
I'll tell you in 1 second. Lowry, Magneto is now the show title for this week. Magneto. I'll tell you, I think Killmonger was more interesting than Loki, from the sense of, to me, he was more conniving than Loki. He played his position, and you never knew what his end game was until he sprung it on you.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
To me, made him more of a villain than Loki. Loki just likes to cause trouble. That dude actually had an end game, and he almost executed that John.
All right.
Again, like
you shut me up.
My beef with Loki being used, you know, the well that they kept going to is like it kind of halted and stunted the growth of other bad guys like Baron Zemo. You know what I mean?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think you had to they're setting up Zemo, and you're getting Zemo.
I mean, we know, me and you, we know that because we're comic people, but for the casual,
who don't
they wouldn't.
Okay, I got you. I mean, but were they checking for Zemo? Let's be fair. Like the casual's not checking for Zemo.
Yeah. I don't think one would have to do with the other either, because it's just like comic books, right? Every hero has their own set of villains. You know, Zemo's like more, I feel like a Captain America like villain, and you got Loki, who's a Thor villain. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing, though.
But he was the Avengers' first villain, though. So, I mean, I think they did a really good job at bringing him out in the first Avengers movie to where he was like the main.
Oh, yeah, the threat for all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And it stuck kind of true to the comic. So they gave the fans the fan service, and then they also put to perspective how this will shape up through the rest of that phase, and I thought that was pretty well done.
I agree. Zemo, I mean, even though we know we're gonna get a little bit more of him in this Disney Plus series, but he's definitely like somebody that I think they probably could have done a little bit more with. And then again, a C-list, probably one of those C-list villains or so that just had potential for them to do more with.
But here's the thing, I've got to be fair. I'm a huge Thunderbolts fan, and I wanted, that's why I wanted Zemo more. You know,
dude, we still got a chance.
They might do it though. There's so much shit that they could pull from. Like I feel like they're playing the long game with this, man. Like everybody wants this shit like right now, and it's like if they keep this cinematic universe like alive and these characters keep aging or whatever, they can't give you all these concepts at once because then they're gonna eventually be outaged. But if they could wait, and now you're gonna get mutants now, and that's gonna carry you a few years, and now you get the FF, and that carries you a few years, and now you do the Thunderbolt storyline or the Young Avengers storyline with the next gen. It's playing the long game, man, and it takes time. It takes time,
dude. They have another 20 years of content they can literally go off of and connect this whole universe together. It could,
if not further beyond that.
Yeah, that's very true, very true. And I think Wanda was like the catalyst for a lot of this stuff. Like seeing WandaVision. And now I'm gonna give my opinion. Seeing WandaVision, it was amazing. Like the first couple of episodes, I think I shared the sentiments of a lot of different people. It was more so trying to figure it out and to see what was going on with this, like why these 2 episodes. But once they got into it, and it just took off. And now you see so many different areas of where they can go with this thing. Like they brought in Monica Rambeau, which we know that's a connection to Captain Marvel and that whole universe. And they talked about her mom, where her mom's gone, but we just seen her in Captain Marvel. So like they're connecting the dots like Marvel normally does. They're giving us the people that we want. And I'm telling y'all, if I don't get a dang on Vision from SH Figure Arts and a dang on Quicksilver, I'm gonna slap somebody. But now I think I got a chance to
give
get
a White Vision. That's it.
I want that. They can keep that. They keep that. But like they're doing so many things. Like they just brought Vision back to the universe, and he just shot out. Like that's. Who thought that was gonna happen?
And he gave him I'm out of here. And he gave him all his memories. So essentially, he's Vision. He's resurrected. So Vision is alive. And again, that they played off a couple of different like little Vision storylines, like in this thing here. So that's cool to see. And where they left Wanda at the end of the series, fully embracing that Scarlet Witch persona, but she was never referred to that before. We know her as a Scarlet Witch, but to actually tell that in story and to sort of explain that and explain her magic and sort of maybe give you hints that something else is going on with her. It's not just she got powers from that staff from the Infinity Stone. There's a little bit more meat to that, and then at the end she's reading that evil book that Agatha showed her, that Agatha had in the house. The Dark
I think is what she called it.
So I mean, and that's gonna play into Doctor Strange, because it was the same way that he was studying in his own movie in the first.
And you heard Agatha say it, that like the Scarlet Witch is more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. That drove me nuts.
She said supersede or something like that of the Sorcerer Supreme or something.
I was like, I'm with it.
Yeah, she's supposedly more powerful, and she's learning like the dark arts, and supposedly her coming into that persona is going to have consequences for the world.
Now, my question is real quick, and it's been a while since I read the comic about that. Was she more powerful than him in the comic?
Like the things that I wouldn't. It's
certain
weird because
things yes, certain things no.
Yes, because the problem is she is a chaos magic person, and the thing is, the things that she had done really messed things up, and they left, like the House of M, where she damn near
eliminated all.
She alters reality. That's the power. Like, so she is extremely powerful in that regard, because it's almost like the reality stone. Like, what if you could change reality to your whim? It's like, what's to stop you from doing whatever the fuck you want?
And she also touched on that. She said, "You're the part of the reality stone that's still a part of me." Like that. That was crazy. I'm like, let's go. It's so many drops and Easter eggs here, man. I gave it a 9. It's a 9 out of 10 for me, and they really did a good job with this.
Actually,
what's confusing with the comics is that if it's a mutant power, though, that's what I'm kind of worried about. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is in the comic. Comics is what? It's mutant power that caused this nonsense versus magic, or is it magic?
Yeah, it was her latent mutant ability. It was something she had never tapped into before, and it was like, wow, like she literally just eliminated thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people.
Mutants.
Yeah, it was crazy, and and to me, like that. What they showed in this satisfied my craving for like wanting to see mutants, even though they dropped Pietro in there and they dangled that carrot like, hey, we might be, but I'm okay. Yeah, Ralph Ballner. I'm okay with what they did here. Like, I don't have to have mutants like right now, especially from a TV series. I want them done proper, and I want them to get their shine. The mutants are my favorite group, especially the X-Men. They're my favorite group of superheroes. So I want it done right. I want it rushed. I want you to bring it in proper. And I mean, they could explain it to where, Wanda creates them. Like, I don't know, but we'll
and they dropped hints of that because I thought, even though again it wasn't explored here in this series, with Monica going through Wanda's field and it said her DNA was rewritten, I thought like, oh, okay, like maybe that's the thing for mutants, if that field went all over the place, it might change people's DNA. Maybe it won't, maybe it, so that could possibly be used further, especially if Wanda's studying that Darkhold book. She might wind up being a villain, like she might wind up being a Marvel villain.
I mean, with bringing her kids back, that's what her and Vision, they want to bring them back. So
dude, and she heard her kids' screams at the end, like she was like, "Mom," like you hear that, and she's like, "Oh, I'm coming," and that was exciting.
Mm-hmm. And those kids, I think, in the comics play a role like with the next gen of heroes and the young Avengers team. So I think like again, the possibilities are there for them to explore all that stuff. You just
Magneto and Wanda and Quicksilver were villains for the Avengers at some point, right?
Yeah, they were. They were when they were first introduced and stuff like that.
Never know.
So and that's the way her role's been played anyway, because again, her and Pietro started as villains in Age of Ultron. She was blamed for those deaths in Civil War. So it's just like there's always been, and now like with her doing this in Westview, like basically holding people hostage, she's been straddling that line. You know what I'm saying?
She's used to having blood on her hands, unfortunately. And this is starting to become a normal for her, and it could have some crazy implications. Right.
The character is not so clean cut, so and it looks like they're planning on doing more with her moving forward, because just the way they ended it and showing all that, and just for her to get the show and to explain it and have all this moving some of the plot forward, she's gonna play a major role.
And kudos to the classic suit. Like, finally, we got a classic suit with a modern interpretation. That's pretty. Like, I think Pietro's suit was also a nod to the classic as well.
It was the old
school. Credit.
Yeah, it was an old school like Halloween night. So what perfect way for them?
No, not that one. That was all those were old school. Like I get that. I'm talking about when he showed up in Age of Ultron. They did their best to give you a modern representation on his old school suit, because he still had the blue in it. He had the silver stripes in it. Like they made it, a little more modern. But like this here with her with the crown, and they kept teasing at that. Woo!
It looked
that was so good to see
the final form, so to speak. Look,
yeah.
So, Burgess, you gave it what, a 9?
I give it a 9.
Okay, easy. And then what about you, Jeremy B? What was your input on that?
Ooh, I have thoughts. Okay, so starting at the beginning, let's look at where we came into at the start of the show. Wanda watched Vision die twice during Infinity War, and then she was poof. So 5 years or 6 years passed, whatever it is, between Infinity War and Endgame, and Wanda's back. So we've got a stretch of time, but in her world, it was like this. So she's still just completely overcome with sadness and regret over what happened. Even though after they finished Thanos and Endgame, after everything quieted down, now all she's left with is her thoughts.
Yeah,
and she misses her dude. So
lonely.
And as we learned, she didn't actually steal the corpse. And there's a question that I saw somebody ask this week of how did they get Vision out of Wakanda? We'll come back to that. We'll deal with that in a second. So just looking at the mindset of Wanda, when everything in her world, she just has this cathartic release that they saved the world, and then she's dealt with this crushing blow of my dude's still dead, and she doesn't know how to deal with that. So it's this repressed grief that just eats at her until there's an explosion, and she doesn't know what the hell it is. It's this hex. She's not controlling it, but she is. So it's all in her world. Now,
well, Jeremy, hold on. Before you move on to that, it's also should be noted that you also have to look at all the relationships that have been built through these Avengers movie, and everybody else moved on with somebody in some different way. You had even when you got, and she had nobody. She was as alone as she was when she thought her parents and her brother had died. Like she was alone. So like and she also had that feeling when she was stuck in the Avengers mansion and Vision was just walking around as a security guard to an extent. like she still was alone with her feelings of grief has been heavy on this girl.
But what is grief if not love persevering?
Crazy, right? Crazy.
So
I'm sorry,
okay, so digging in on that. So we all think that Wanda, we understand but think about this. How different is she from Annie Wilkes from Misery? Think about it. Her Vision, she's controlling everything in his world so that he can just be there with her, write his story, live their lives. And she's controlling everybody else. And it doesn't matter to what end she does it. That's a villain, motherfucker. Like, I don't care how she ended up at the end. You look at Agatha, and she was just an opportunist. She saw something happen. She wasn't there in episode 1. It was 2 or 3 where she finally saw, like, what's this chaos magic? Let me see how I can roll with this shit. And in the end, I think, just to go off of Jose's point, Wanda was the villain of this.
She was the big bad for sure.
Yeah, you look at intention, it wasn't her intention, but she had repressed this grief for so long. And I think a lot of us can understand that feeling where you just don't know what to do. So you'll just make your own reality. And she did it literally. Yeah. And you can't blame her for that. But at the same time, that doesn't make her right.
Exactly.
So the fact that she's got all this awareness and this additional power, and you heard the twins screaming at the end, I think that points to her kind of fulfilling the prophecy that she could destroy the world, that she is the ultimate big bad, and that if she gets a grasp on her powers, that could be down the line.
Whatever. I think this is just a setup because they broke her up and with Vision so that Wonder Man can clap them cheeks later on. So I'm not trying.
I'm all for Wonder Man kind of dude. If we can get a Wonder Man, I'd be okay with that too.
And she'll be good again, and then she'll break up with that dude and hook up with Vision again, so that they can create give.
I'd be okay with Wonder Man popping up, man. I thought that's what they were going to do. When you saw the body of Vision hanging out on the slab at the Sword headquarters, but we might be far off from that too.
So as far as I know a lot of people were emotionally tied to this. I didn't give a shit about the kids. I don't know if I'm an empty, broken person, and that's why.
No, I'm with you. I didn't give a shit about them either.
Like, I didn't have the feels like I thought I would at the end. I think the payoff was appropriate for the story, and for that reason, I'm giving it an 8.
But them kids went out. They went out in a happy space. I think you would have more feelings for them if them kids died tragically. But they went out in a happy space. They went to bed. That's it. They still.
The whole story ultimately is about Wanda dealing with her grief, and at the end, she said goodbye to Vision in a very amicable way. Hey, I'll see you next time. Where the last 2 times where he was ripped away, it was different. So this shows personal growth on Wanda's part. But at the same time, who suffered because of that growth?
Yeah.
So
she didn't realize that the townspeople were feeling like her grief, like and that was the thing. And so in a way, it's like if you watch it all, it's you almost don't know how to feel about it, because again, she was the bad guy here, but as you saw through the flashbacks, she didn't know how she initially created that world. But then after that, there was some like awareness there, like like through the conversations with Quicksilver and
100%.
The conversations even with Vision, like and we saw the flashback with Monica when she expelled Monica from there. Like you still that shit ain't fucking normal. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you're staying in there because you're living in your own little happy like reality, and maybe she didn't know the extent of the way the people were suffering. But it's like, damn, man, like, you know, you
But does that give her a pass?
You took these people's lives like away from them, like, you know what I'm saying, like, and finding out at the end that, you know, they were in pain. You know, maybe she's gonna feel some remorse. I don't know, but it's just weird. It's just a weird way they kind of played it, because it's like you're almost like you could feel for her because she didn't get a chance to process her grief. Like Jeremy said, this is like coming back from the snap and boom, look at all this shit that's going on. Like, and this is supposed to supposedly take place before Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah, this is like 3 weeks from Endgame, I think, is when it started.
Just after, you know, just after Endgame, like when everybody came back. So, you know, again, it's like she just lost Vision. It's not 5 years later for her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just happened.
It's as fresh as Monica losing her mom,
you know, and very emotional too, because of you know, finding out that Vision had bought this plot of land for them to maybe build a life, and to not have that, and again, the grief, and, you know, I just don't feel like it gives her a pass. It just shows, you know, maybe the Sokovia Accords and the governments are right, like, to want to put a tab on metahumans because look what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I will give her this bit of a pass, because if you noticed, when things were close to her in her proximity to where her powers were, I guess, the strongest, things seemed normal. Even with Agatha knew what was going on, so she thought, okay, everybody's in on this. But as you get to the outline of the city, that's when you seen her powers not have a full effect. And so, from my assumption, and I could be wrong, she didn't know that was happening out there. Also, just like she didn't know until they told her that when we go to sleep, we have your nightmares. That rocked her, and you can tell that it rocked her. So I think she wasn't fully aware of everything that was going on. Clearly, she doesn't understand her powers. She says this to Agatha, but she says she will eventually understand them. So I give her a little bit of a pass that she's like a kid with a newfound toy that doesn't understand it fully. And if they break the head off of it, it's not intentional. It's because I'm playing with it and I'm still trying to figure it out. So I will give her a bit of that pass.
Somewhere, but anyway.
I give her a bit of a pass there. Lowry, you suck. But I'll give her a bit of a pass for that aspect only. But because she's an adult, she still has to have some type of responsibility for her consequences and understand that her choices, her actions have potentially affected the lives of these people who are just starting to probably move on with their lives, because half of them probably just got back from the snap.
Man, you guys really thought deeply about this. I was just impressed by the Visions fighting, like the closest thing to a Dragon Ball
so cool.
match in the television that I saw.
So before we get too far into that, Lowry, we got to hear your thoughts, sir.
All right, so it's kind of interesting the way this whole thing started out. It started out slow, and then it kind of started building throughout the whole series. The thing that kind of interests me quite a bit were the Easter eggs and all the miscellaneous shit that were going throughout the episodes. Like, what was Black Tiger's original name? Wasn't it like Abe something?
Black Tiger. You mean Killmonger's original name? Black Tiger?
No, the original name, Black Tiger, the guy's name was, I think, Abe something, from the comics.
I'm not familiar with that character. Sorry.
So
I know Bronze Tiger in DC, and then I know, like, Killmonger played.
So long story short, like, and rolling in the credits, they were actually given names of aliases of some characters that could possibly to come.
Oh, snaps.
A lot of people didn't realize that, because I was reading about it, and it was kind of interesting the way that they named some of these episodes and some of these credits and all this other shit. So it was actually kind of fun. That part was fun to me. I definitely agree with what you guys were saying about miscellaneous pieces about she definitely, I thought, was the villain of the show ultimately. whether I think she was redeemed or not towards the end, I don't think she was entirely. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's like you made a mess and then you cleaned it up kind of like, you know what I'm saying, but it's like you still made the fucking mess, you know, like, and you got away. It's not like you saw any consequences. You
got free.
Got free.
And so like some of the miscellaneous Easter eggs, which I thought was kind of funny. So remember when Agatha, like towards the end of the show, where she was trying to take her power, and Wanda was like, "Just take it all." It was kind of like a nod towards Incredible Hulk. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
So
that's
was a
good
nod
point.
towards that. There was another nod to miscellaneous other shit, and so I was in. It was kind of funny to me because we were watching this, and I mean, yeah, I had some theories that didn't end up being shit, but it didn't matter because it was, you know, it was a fun ride through this whole process, and I can't wait for the rest of the shit for them to do. You know what I mean? And so, just to see all these miscellaneous Easter eggs of all these different people, and to see like how evil she can actually be, like, and just not fucking think about it. You know, I mean, she could be her own Thanos.
In a way, yeah, and in a way, to me, it's like I don't think, again, it's not coming from an evil place from her, like I don't think, but she still did a bad thing. She still did a bad thing. You know, whether intentional or not, knowingly or not. Yep, it's still.
She held them against their kids, like what's her name at the end, where she said, "Can I just see my daughter?"
Yeah, she's like, "Can you let them out of their rooms? Can you let them out of their room?" You know, it's like, yo, she fucked up those people up, man. You know, like those people are gonna be scarred for life. You know, from
ignorance isn't an excuse, though, dude. Like, I agree. Like they try to frame her as, you know, the hero at the end, but she just saved everyone from herself.
But I think that was Marvel's way of setting you up and trying to cleanse your palate, because they are going to, from the looks of it, and I could be wrong, but they've done this in the past before. They could be setting this up to where she is becoming a big bad in Doctor Strange. Like, you just never know.
I hope they don't go that far. I hope they sit on it. I hope that they just let her simmer, and towards the end of this phase or the next phase, then she's like, just let it build slowly, because if they do that, she could be a bigger villain than Thanos or anyone they could come up with a history and everyone being pulled in different directions on how they feel about her. They could really do something interesting with that.
Yeah, agreed. The potential's there, exactly, because you said because of the history, and if they just keep slow burning it, you know, from villain to hero to ultimate villain, like, you know, it would be a great arc for the character.
And she's powerful enough that she could fill that role. It's not, you know, just some street level guy that's gonna get through one movie. She could be that big bad built over time.
Yeah. And Lowry,
So
I'm sorry, we cut you off, dude. Continue.
No. It's a good conversation. It's pretty fun. So, like, I'm just kind of, you guys kind of filled in all the meat and potatoes of the shit. I'm just kind of feeling, because I agree with all your points with you stuff, what you were talking about. Just the stuff that we didn't touch too much on, which was kind of interesting, is a lot of these Easter eggs and shit. Like, also, like, at the end of the last episode, the one Easter egg where it showed her sitting at the cabin in the middle of the woods was another nod to Incredible Hulk as well.
Yeah, when he went to be solo dolo.
We went to sit back. So it's like, it was kind of interesting. I thought those kind of nods and stuff like that made it kind of fun to watch this show. And so I'm actually going to, after Beth and I just got to finish watching this, we're probably going to binge watch the whole thing.
Yep.
To see if we missed it.
I said the same thing.
I need to watch it again too, like just straight through, just because I only watched them once, like per week. I didn't watch any of them like more than once. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, you know, you got to watch something a second time because you might pick up on things you missed and stuff like that.
It's like Friday. Just like Friday. You didn't see that guy in the bed until like the third watch.
It's interesting. We need to get Tim K's view, because the rest of us have been watching it week by week, but that dude just binged it this weekend. So I'd be interesting to see the difference between making us wait week by week and just getting it all in one go.
I thought they would have like tried to give Wanda a little bit more of a pass with Agatha, because it did seem like she was just causing like mischief within like the hex. But I mean, they said it clear as day in that final episode. She was like, "Nah, this is all you." She's like, "This is all you." Like, I'm just here
Agatha
for the ride,
was.
like, you know, so. That song, how great
my
was that
biggest
song?
win for the finale was Agatha sticking around. I thought that when they turned it on her, she was just going to be gone forever. But the fact that she's still an option, that Wanda can go back and lean on her and learn from her over time, like that just made me tickle pink.
It's nothing happens by accident, so that's definitely going to be revisited down the line for sure.
That's a fact. The other thing that we also didn't touch on, Lowry, is the fact that she learned that rune spell very quickly, and she was setting her up the entire fight in the air. She was giving her everything.
Didn't catch that.
I didn't catch it at first either. My wife was like,
I was like, why the fuck did she miss? And I'm like,
yeah. And my wife was like, we could have been over this 20 minutes ago if she knew that dang on spell. I was like, babe, she was setting it up. If you notice, she didn't miss on purpose. She was hitting the walls and she was setting up that spell so she can depower Agatha, so she can just set her down. And she okay.
Here's the question I had after that. When the hex came down, didn't the runes come down as well? And wouldn't her control over Agatha go away once the runes
not necessarily
come down?
The rune spell is actually just something that you can see it, but it's set up, so it doesn't
right. But wasn't it set up
on
on the hex, or was it separate from that?
It was set up on the hex, but it was because it was for her magic powers only, not her memory. It said, because remember she said something about she couldn't use the person who cast it. No one can use, another witch can't use her spells inside the hex.
Right, but
so she drained her of everything.
Right. But once the hex collapses, when the kids go and Vision goes and the hex collapses in on itself, wouldn't the runes also do that?
No. She drained all her power out of her.
She already did what she did to Agatha before the hex went down.
Gotcha.
She sucked it all back out of her, bro. It was it.
Whoa.
I mean,
so Lowry, what's your score for overall?
I'd say probably 8.5.
Solid.
It seems to be the consensus.
So I got a question for you guys. Why was it broadcasted? Other than going back and seeing that she enjoyed sitcoms when she was a kid and kind of focused on those. Other than that fact, why was it broadcasted at all?
Yeah, I think that's just the way. And again, they didn't really explain it, like why there would be a broadcast coming out from outside of the hex. But I think that was just a way for them to explain the whole setting of it with the 1950s sitcom, 60s sitcom, and going through the years like that. And then you saw the flashback of her enjoying that stuff as a kid and watching it with her brother and with the family and stuff like that. So I just I guess a way to be a love letter to that era of television, you know what I'm saying? And it explained the quirkiness of that in this fantasy setting. Because it's like why else would they do that? Why else would you see a style TV show unless they say it's some sort of mystical broadcast?
Right. I mean, and it's called WandaVision. I mean, so it's WandaVision, but Wanda's vision and WandaVision, like television. So it was like three different things rolled into one. But I give Disney this credit from this standpoint. As a kid coming up, I was a TGI Friday kind of guy. So like on Friday nights, me and my mom, or me and my mom and my little brother, we got around and we watched Full House and Family Matters and the likes. And it would always come on Friday. And who owns ABC now? Disney. So for them to release these on Friday and I can watch them at the set like 7 or 8 o'clock hour or even 8:30, it just brought all that nostalgia back for me. And this was a great show to do so. Even though I was watching The Mandalorian very similarly, like sometime I will watch it on lunch break until I got my wife involved and then we'll watch it together. But like,
couldn't wait.
Like Disney, I intentionally held off on this to watch this in the sense of the old spirited TGI Friday kind of vein, man. And got to give them credit for that, man. I love what Disney's doing here. I just wanted to
on the peripherals, just so y'all know that James Woo, that character, he plays if he's the same character who I think he's going to be, Jimmy Woo in the Marvel, for the Marvel comic universe, not Marvel. He's going
he
to be the
becomes-
head of the Agents of Atlas, and that's where
Yes.
things are going to get really awesome.
Oh yeah.
Especially
Yeah, because he was
if-
calling in some help, and nobody we didn't see who that was yet. Like he
Yeah, we
called him
did.
in.
Yeah, we did. We saw it in
Who was
the
it?
first post-credit scene. The people that he was working with when he called for help that set them up with that that truck or whatever Monica tried to go through with, they ended up being the Krulls, and associated with what we are led to believe is Nick Fury.
Yeah.
So it does kind of tie that together, but
that's what they said at the end, that Fury wanted to meet with Monica, and then they were like, in space, that's where Fury's at. He's on one of the Talos' ship. So,
but I agree with you, Yul, that could be pretty awesome, and I think as a character he's playing, it's an awesome addition. Just another, kind of Darcy-like character where he could actually have more meat to the role later on.
Yeah. Oh, like Agent Coulson, right?
That Coulson,
Yeah,
perfect.
He's kind of a fun character because he always had those like smart little quips and everything he would throw out.
yeah, well, you saw the calls online for him to get like a spin-off show and whatever.
I'd watch that shit.
Yeah, but they need to do it on Disney Plus.
Gonna get one soon enough.
Yeah.
So what about
Also-
Vision?
Also, give him credit for Disney is so freaking smart, dude. Like, and it's the small things for me that makes me appreciate Disney. He learned that card trick. He figured it out from Ant-Man. Like he was like, I got it, and he used it on them in the show. Man, I thought that was pretty cool.
That was a great callback. Never discount their ability to do a good callback.
I think they're doing a good job here of giving you like furthering the stories, but then also kind of giving callbacks, like Jeremy said, to kind of make you remember, oh shit, like that was back at this movie, to remember, okay, so they're tying shit from previous.
They do that a lot, man. They did it in Endgame. A lot of people missed it, when they were trying to get to the van to turn the time machine on, and the Wasp was like, we got it, Cap. She was giving fucking Scott shit for that. Like, like in the second movie when he was like, she was like, oh, you call him Cap? You call Cap? Like, like that. And then she does it in Endgame. So it's like, you gotta like if you pay attention, like shit like that, they throw shit like that and throw it in there for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's tons of things like that in these shows.
I love those things.
Yeah.
Love it.
So speaking of Vision, who actually is Vision? Looking at the ship of Theseus paradox.
That was dope.
That was actually pretty badass the way they
were. So who is Vision? The one with the short-term memories, the one that's the body of Vision. If you take a board away and eventually there's no more boards, is the vessel still the sum of the parts?
Right. So at this point, you have to surmise that is Vision now that he has his memories unlocked, because he had no memories. He was created to be a machine, much like Ultron was going to create him to be a killing machine, somebody to take out the Avengers. But now he has all the Jarvis stuff back in him. And now he can make his own decisions again. And this has some pretty good future implications that could come from this. And I'm looking forward to that. Not just my SH figure art figure. However, it could be pretty dope down the line, man, to see where
what did you guys think
of
his design? Like the textured patterns and shit, and like the circuitry that you saw on his face and all that when they zoomed in on it.
Yeah, I like
it's pretty neat.
There's a way to make it look a little bit different and stuff, and I think this is what they were trying to do in Infinity War when they were trying to remove the Mind Stone from him. Like, like you remove the Mind Stone from him, and what do you have left? And I think this is going to be where they explore that now with this character. Because like you said, within that fight in Westview, the fake Vision, or he's the real Vision, but he just wasn't a real thing. Again, he unlocked that body's potential. His memories were kept from him, what I'm saying, due to the programming from the Harding, from the Sword Agent and stuff like that. So once he unlocked them, I agree, he's the physical body, and now he has the memories. It's just no more Mind Stone, so I think this was what they were trying to do in Infinity War when they were trying to.
So with that in mind, and keep me honest here, guys, but I remember early in the second, third episode, Vision stating that he had no memory before Westview. So he had no idea that he was an Avenger. He had none of those memories. So what exactly did he unlock, or how did he do that if he wasn't aware of those things?
Remember as he started to talk to Agatha and he started to figure it out, and he started to see things shake off. He started to regain more and more of his consciousness.
He got the explanation from Darcy too. Remember, she was basically filled in on the history.
Gotcha. Darcy played a pivotal part in this show, and she's got it, and Monica does too. But like Darcy is like a key piece. Without Darcy, a lot of this stuff falls apart. I just hope that they do right by her in the upcoming Thor movie, because I do enjoy her as not just as a side character, but I think she brings personality to those other characters there. But I want them to really do right by Monica. I want to see them really flesh out this character. Because she has potential to really rock some stuff too, if you know anything about her.
And I think that they're gonna hold true on that. But with Darcy, is it more of the shape that she adds to the story that you're interested in, or is it the actual character?
Listen, if I just wanted to look at her shape, I go watch Two Broke Girls, because she was banging in that. But no, I think she definitely still is. I think she's.
Is that one?
No, Monica's going to get her flowers, man. She's going to be a big role, and I think just that little bit with the Skrulls and the fact that she's going to space, I think that's a big indication of. I think we'd all prefer to see her than Captain Marvel as far as filling 2 hours of a movie. So count me in on that shit.
Yeah. I mean, they gave her the power, so and she's already, you already know the character she's playing. Whether I think she's had multiple names in the comic books. Whatever they wind up calling her, we'll see. But just the fact that they introduced the character, she went through what she went through here. This was her origin story, basically. So they're gonna flesh her character out in future movies. So the second Captain Marvel movie for sure. That's what they set up. They set up that Captain Marvel 2 and the next Doctor Strange. Right here,
and all the while having
Secret Invasion.
Invasion. But they wrapped it all up into a fucked up love story. That at the soul of this show, that's what it was. It was 9 episodes of Wanda really having the time that she wants to spend with Vision and go through all the things that they thought about and talked about. And just like Captain America, the first Avenger, was kind of a period piece, or Civil War was more of a spy thriller. This was Marvel's first take on a sitcom, a love story between two people that, even though it's really, really fucked up, it still hits you in the heartstrings. And I think
it does.
That's a good takeaway.
The ending with her and Vision having their conversation, their moment, it almost brought a tear to my eye, man, because I think we've all been there, like having to say goodbye to somebody, whether it's a loved one, whether it's time for a relationship to end and you really don't want to make that decision, but it's for the best, or just saying goodbye to somebody because they're going on a long trip and maybe to the military or something like that. Like, it doesn't always have to be death, right? But we can all relate to that moment. And that for me was like, Disney has done the Disney thing. And that was a really good thing, because all Disney ever does is try to play on your heartstrings and get you emotionally invested in their movies. And that's how they know they got you. You know what I mean? So it was pretty good. It's pretty good there.
And that's what they have to do. You have to care about these characters in order to invest and to want to watch the show, and by the time you get to the end of it with them too, in general, it's a nice, they put a nice little bow tie on their story, and again, the potential is there to move forward, as well as, again, introducing new characters, which is basically what they did with the second Avengers movie as well, introducing newer characters to the team, while phasing out some of the old ones, and those old ones giving them the rub, just like in wrestling, Jeremy, right? You know what I'm saying? You got those older characters giving the newer talent the rub. You need that, because it's
you got to build them up.
Yep.
So you have somebody to go with. So one last thing before we get over this stuff, I think there was an important thing that maybe we focused on, maybe we didn't, but the fact that Wanda's had the Mind Stone within her, and Vision was a realization of the Mind Stone within her, and then Vision passing that on to, you could see the yellow energy moving on to White Vision. That's the first indication that we've gotten that there's any
I don't like that
semblance
name.
of
We're not calling
the
it White Vision anymore.
White Vision. All right.
No, we're not doing that. No.
Pasty ass vision,
So you
not my SH Figwarts vision.
So I don't know if you guys saw this or not. I kind of had to throw this up. Did you see this the whole week?
Yeah.
That's fire. That's fire.
Look
dog.
at this, like him in the fucking rag and shit.
Oh man. Oh man. I'm sorry, Jeremy. Go ahead, buddy. Keep going.
My point was the Infinity Stones still exist. Even though the stones are broken, the power that they held, there's still smidgens of it within the universe. So the questions I had with what does Doctor Strange do without the Time Stone? You know, maybe he's got a little bit left in the tank, but there's been no indication that there was any bit of it that survived, any of the Infinity Stones that survived through Thanos destroying them in Endgame. And this is the first bit of that we get. So I think they're going to build on that going forward as well.
But then they also gave themselves an out. You really don't need to if you have the multiverse and quantum time travel. There's already
Dude, the further they get away from that in the future, I think is best for all of us. Like we don't want to be questioning Endgame for the next 10 or 20 years.
Isn't the next Ant-Man called Quantum Mania or something like that? So
Yeah,
it's gonna go
Mania, man.
Yeah, you got a point there.
So it's out there. They're setting you up. I mean, but hey, maybe in Ant-Man, that's when we actually get our first glimpse into the Fantastic Four. But you've been awfully quiet about this, man.
It looks like you're about to hurt somebody.
No, it's not that. That's just no. I just didn't really look that deep into it, to be honest, man. Because I'm looking at it from more production / logistical way of the way things were handled. For me, I was more into the comics and these and I just think that these shows and movies are kind of cute, but I was never really into them like most people are.
Okay.
They don't hit me quite like the way Star Wars hits me, because Star Wars, starts off as cinema versus these,
I get it. I get what you mean.
For me, when I watch these things, I just try to taper my expectations, because I'm more of a hardcore comic book guy. So when I see them fuck stuff up, I have to be like,
yeah, it's kind of hard for you to give them a
some
credence
things
or
just
give them a
don't
give them a chance.
translate. So,
Yeah.
But
And
let me
I-
ask you this: since you mentioned production, does anybody know if they went the Mandalorian route and all this? Because the Mandalorian is pretty much shot on this giant green screen. Did they do the same thing for WandaVision?
I think you definitely got some of that here, but whatever the production values were, they were pretty high. Like, again, movie didn't look movie quality to me, maybe not as good in that final, but I mean, nothing that it was like that it looks like regular television. Like, you could definitely tell millions of dollars were put in per episode, so probably by the end of the 9 episodes, probably just as much as a movie budget, if not more.
They only needed one set, really. I mean, there wasn't too much.
Exactly.
Just that town.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
They did the changing of the town and modernizing it, through the
that too.
Stuff.
Yeah, they had
but
to keep redoing it.
But it wasn't like a huge set piece, I don't think. Like, you had the sword set up on the outside and basically a quaint looking town on the inside. So I didn't think there was really much to do there as far as your set pieces.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
I lied. There was one movie out of the bunch that I did Black Panther. Black Panther was probably the one movie that got me thinking, and really I got myself immersed in it emotionally and everything. Out of all.
And well, since we're getting ready to wrap up, what was it about the Black Panther that made you say, "Oh man, like this is dope"?
It subverted a lot of my expectations. Like, I imagined Man-Ape to be the bad guy, but he ended up being the coolest motherfucker in the entire.
He was so dope.
And
He was so
just
dope.
like how they were able. They made that, an amazing African-based fantasy sci-fi thing that just blew my gosh damn mind. I loved every, I never seen it in the comics, and to see it the way it was done in cinema, just really like, I was like, wow, what am I seeing? Kind of shit. This is amazing. That's one of the few times I was really, missed. Like, wow, that's cool. But
and imagine
else,
that's why it had that effect that it did on so many African American people, because we understand that everything that we see on TV about Africa is not true. We know that they have they still got a gang of wealth over there, and they still have major cities that are operating like utopias and stuff like that. It's just that's not what's shown to us on American media, and we understand that. So that to see that on screen, even though it was still kicked up to 10,000 levels, it was a cultural
because we were 80s kids, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah, as 80s, 70s kids, they showed the worst in the commercials. The
25 cents a day could feed this kid.
Yeah. I would have never known. I just imagined that it was all third world,
Yeah.
And that's
so far from the truth. I'm sorry, Lowry, I cut you off. Go ahead, buddy.
No, you're good.
Well, I guess with that, guys, it's a good spot to go ahead and wrap it up. That's been a lot of meat. We talked the whole hour on WandaVision.
That's why I wasn't going to talk about too much of the other shit, because I knew it was going to go this long.
Love it. I'm sorry, Lowry. Did you have anything else before we get ready to wrap?
No, that's pretty much about it.
All right.
For news and everything else, that was a good discussion. That was a good turnout.
I think if there's any takeaway, it's that what an awesome fucking start to the MCU on Disney Plus.
Yes.
Like, if this is any indication of what we have to come with Winter Soldier and Falcon and Loki and those series, like, man, I can't wait. What a confidence builder this show is, from the execution to the unique creative approach to the payoff. I think it's a solid first effort.
It's money in the bank, man. Money in the bank. Money in the bank.
Hopefully they can continue doing that.
Yeah.
I have faith in them, man. At this point, like, it's almost like they could like almost do no wrong. Like, not all of the movies are as good as the others. You're always gonna have those that are better than the others. But I think overall, as a whole, they take their time. They do things with a plan, and I think everything is just meticulously planned out moving forward. So when it's done like that, and not just a haphazard way of doing things, you get what you get now. The kind of quality of these series that we're getting. And we always said it on past podcasts, like, what a time to be alive as a nerd, because who would have thought fucking 15 years ago we'd have like a saga that we have with the MCU, and it's continuing to grow.
Especially given go ahead.
Most of that shit continued, like, what, most of our 30s, most of us.
Yeah.
Late 20s. When 2008 Iron Man, that first Iron Man, I was 28 years old. I'm fucking 41 now. I'm still enjoying.
Yeah, right.
You also gotta give them credit for where they come from, man. Like, because think about what they had originally. We had Captain America. It didn't look good way back in the day, right? Where Eric Roberts. You had the Punisher, Dolph Lundgren Punisher, which wasn't bad, but it wasn't the greatest.
89 Punisher.
You didn't get the skull. You didn't get the skull on the chest.
Right. Right, you know what I mean. So like you had that. I mean, they made up for it with the Thomas Jane Punisher, but then I like that.
But this was the only way to do it, for Marvel to take their properties back and to insist on having that control and quality and steadfastness, to not be reactionary, to lay out a plan, stick to it, adjust as necessary, and execute. And we got that for 23 movies, and then after we had a year and a half break, now we're all starving for the shit again. And this was just that little bit of that teaser that will get us through to the next bit. There you go.
I will say that they need to adjust if they're thinking of jobbing the Taskmaster to the Black Widow. I will not accept Taskmaster jobbing to anyone, especially.
Well, listen, Taskmaster has a way of making himself known in things, so like they're not gonna kill him off. He'll be around, and you'll find him in other areas. He might even make appearance in Falcon and Winter Soldier. You just never know. Just give it time. Just give it time. But all right, guys, let's get this wrapped up here. Want to give a special shout out to our special guest Jose for joining us today. HarikenBx, man, we thank you. You brought exactly what we thought was going to happen on the show.
Man.
So we
Not only that, but sir, you have something to plug for this past Monday.
I was getting to that.
My bad. I didn't mean to step on your toes.
Let me do me, Thunder Thief. Go ahead and do your shout outs, man. Tell people where they can find you, and then also plug episode 100. Woo-hoo!
Oh yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. So you could find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all at HarikenBx, as it says right there in that corner. And check out Enter the Realm and Breaking the Molds, 2 video podcasts that you can watch on the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel, Mondays and Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And check out Verbally Challenged with HarikenBx, which I just dropped my 100th episode last Monday by the time this drops. And special guest Bobby Skullface. So we had a great conversation. It's a long one, nice deep conversation as I've been having with some guests lately, and it's been a good time. I'm really glad to have the podcast rolling again, and really happy to be celebrating episode 100. So thank you to everybody that supports the podcast. You can find it on all audio platforms.
Dude.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Jose. The last few have been fire. Like you're on another level, man.
Appreciate it.
Doing a great job.
Man.
Thanks, guys.
We don't call
And
you
thanks
the
for having
Larry
me.
King. No doubt, man. No doubt. We don't call you the Larry King of the realm for nothing, bro. Like, you are our historian. I'm telling you guys, like, if you have not listened to Verbally Challenged, you're doing yourself a disservice. This guy interviewing skills is amazing, and he makes you super comfortable, which everybody says. He really does. And I know you've been wanting to get us as a podcast on, so we gotta make that happen, no doubt.
Definitely.
Coco Smooth, what about you, buddy?
Y'all can catch me on the YouTubes at Coco Smooth 619. That's where you'll see me posting at least once a week for videos, mostly comic book focused. So if y'all want to take a break from toys, which I know y'all won't, is where I put my focus on. All right, so.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Thanks for coming, man. And for those who haven't listened to the announcement of the last 2 episodes, yes, Yule is in the rotation. So thank you so much for accepting the invitation, being a part of the cast, man.
Thanks for having me.
We got to do you proper, man. We got everybody else on. We got to do you proper.
Not gonna lie, dude. I was a little worried for y'all. I was like, "Oh no, I'm definitely a difficult flavor for most."
It's all good, man. We all got that one friend. It's all good.
Yeah, that's good. That's me.
Jeremy B, what about you, buddy?
You can find me on the Facebooks at Jeremy Bennett. If you're on Xbox Live, I'll be getting blown up on Call of Duty as the Crunky Monkey with EE Prime, Skinny Vinny, and some of the other guys. You can find me here in inoffensive amount of Thursdays as the rotation does the rotation. Otherwise, find me in Sam Mead's DMs, just sliding in there like I'm comfortable on any other Friday. So check out that OnlyFans page. We're hosting every other Wednesday night as a special buffet edition. So we'll have hot wings and roast beef. Come check us out.
So continuing the meat, huh?
Oh man, you and Sam are nuts.
I love Sam. No, but seriously, guys, thanks for having me on, adding me to the rotation and the crew. It's awesome. I'm having fun with it. And shout out to the MyRock crew. Shout out to the Nerd Life Syndicate. All the other shows on the realm and around. Love you guys. Thanks for having me.
Cool beans. Mr. Lowry, what about you, sir?
Hey, what's up? You can find me at Jason Lowry in the Facebook groups. Probably not giving a fuck about anything.
in the barber chair in a couple of days.
Yeah. This shit. Gotta get this shit done. I got like the dust mop going.
That's why I put a hat on.
Yeah. This is only like a week and a half.
Dude, I got you beat. I haven't had a haircut since August.
Oh my god!
I get mine every 2 weeks, dude. Like my gray hair goes fast. You can find me in Xbox with Jeremy and some of those guys playing Call of Duty at Clutch 2345. You can find me, like I said, in the Facebook groups as Jason Lowry. You can find me Instagram as well as Jason Lowry. And be sure Thursday evenings check out the Total Package podcast. My wife and some of her friends are on there. Be sure to check them out every week. And that is it for me. How about you, Eric B?
Yo, you can find me, your boy Eric B, in your Facebook groups, Eric and Siobhan Burgess on Facebook, Mr_EatUp82 on Instagram. You can find our board, Kennedy's Village, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well for that, as well as our website, www.kennedysvillage.org. We still have that raffle going. If it's not closed by the end of the month, then I'm just going to have to shorten it up. Because I think these guys who have already participated deserve to win this beast of a laptop. But if you want to get a couple spots, we still got some available. Just check us out on Kennedy's Village Facebook page. That's at Kennedy's Village on Facebook. Want to give a huge shout out again to Jose. Congratulations on episode 100, man. This is a crazy ride, man. But you've been consistent at it, diligent, and we definitely appreciate what you bring to the culture. It's something that's not there. So you got your own lane, man. You filled your own spot. So we appreciate that. Also want to give a shout out to the Rama Collectors. If it wasn't for them, none of us would know of each other, man. So I want to definitely give them a shout out. Shout out to Mr. Bobby Skullface and all he does. And shout out to the MyRock crew, man. That is a crew that basically started just because of what the Rama Collectors does and promotes, and that's community. And without those guys, man, I would not have found a better set of friends and brothers locally here in Michigan, man. So I appreciate you guys. Want to also give one last shout out to just my wife, man. She always does a good job of making sure that the kids are taken care of on these Sundays. So I can record with you guys, and you can find me every Thursday here with The Nerds Have Spoken, and we are working on the meat sweats, guys. Get your mouth ready. Get your mouth ready.
You almost said watering, and you were like, "Oh, that sounds icky."
Yeah, it does. But with that, guys, the Nerds Have Spoken, and we are out of here. Peace.
Peace.
Catch you guys next week.